I think every American thinks that every Filipino is a nurse. That's the first question I get asked whenever I meet somebody new and they learn I'm a Filipino. It's like, are you a nurse? And start saying yes. I was like, sure. It's a shorter conversation that way. And so many of you are actually very curious of the actual, without exaggeration, without overhyping, what are the stereotypes that Americans or other races have towards Filipinos in America? And so I'll discuss some of them. Okay, first is that I think they think that every Filipino is a nurse. That's the biggest misconception. Whenever I meet somebody new and then they learn that I'm a Filipino, the first question would be, are you a nurse? I do not take offense, by the way. I feel like if there's anything the pandemic has proven is that the nurses and other healthcare workers are the actual superheroes. They're just, I don't know, they're angels in my eyes. So whenever I get asked if I'm a nurse, I feel like I'm getting asked if I'm Jennifer Lopez or something. I'm like, of course I'm a nurse. So I just it's also a shorter conversation that way. So yeah, so I think that's one that everyone thinks we're a nurse. And second is that we're very hardworking. I know there's a lot of employers, especially the medium-sized companies and the small-sized companies, they love hiring Filipino workers. We don't complain, we work hard. We work hard and we work smart. So they know that regardless of our educational background, they throw us in any department, we'll be able to do it and do it well and improve the system. Whereas there's even in engineering, there's a lot of Filipinos in the engineering world, like in different phone companies and tech companies. It's just we're known for making things efficient. We don't just create things, but we make things more efficient. We smell good. So it's very common here for them to not shower every day, especially during the winter because it's cold. But Filipinos, because we came from a tropical country, we just shower every day. Some of us actually shower twice a day, like me. And so they know that we smell good. It's like, it's honest, we smell good. Okay, and we like to keep it that way. Let's keep that reputation going. Okay, another is that we have some of the best foods around. So they know that Filipino dishes are very tasty here because American cuisine has a tendency to be oily and a little bland, at least for my taste. But Filipino dishes, they're so tasty, they're so different. There's a lot in there. like our sinigang or kare-kare, you put it there, it seems like there's a lot in there that they can eat. So there's so that they love the Filipino, any Filipino gathering, any American or any person from another race would come to a Filipino gathering, they know they're gonna get some good food. Next is that they think that we have one language and one culture. So they're very surprised. I used to do marketing for this law firm, and there are a lot of Filipinos there. Sometimes some of the Filipinos there would talk in their native language that I don't understand, other parts of the country. And so when another worker from another country would ask me what they're talking about, I don't know. They can't believe it. And so I would always have to explain that we have more than 120 ethno-linguistic groups in the Philippines, and it's just impossible for me to learn all of those. And so there are words I would understand because we just hear it so much, but I always have to explain that. I always have to tell them that there are different cultures, different religion, different languages. You can't expect us all to behave the same way. Next is that there's a culture of servitude, especially when it comes to women. I have been asked very, very politely, and I'm sure that it was all through education. Somebody asked me, he said, is it true that Filipino women, especially Filipino wives, are very much into servitude? That's the sort of the love language, and also the culture that it's the women who actually take up all the chores in the house. We serve the man, that the man wouldn't have to do inside the house, wouldn't have to do anything inside the house. So that was actually asked that question, and because it was asked very politely, because I knew that the person really wanted to be educated and really wanted to know the truth. He probably has been hearing about this stereotype for so long that he is just finally puzzled, is it true or not? And this was the chance to actually ask to ask about it and to get a clear answer and the truth, actually, the fact instead of rumors. And so I had to tell him how it was in our old culture, how it's evolving, and also, but that it is the act of service is a huge love language for the Filipinos, and it's not just for women but also men, but I actually went very objective and actually explained to him how our culture has evolved, and it still is evolving, and the truth, just the truth of the matter. Like, many areas, especially in the rural areas, it's still the men who would actually go out to till the land or do whatever it is that they need to do to put food on the table, and the women would usually get left behind. But then there's also that other side, especially in the urban areas, where it's the women just do anything that the men do, and sometimes it's actually the men who get to like cooking, who stays in the kitchen a whole lot more than the women. So, all of those balanced information I had to give it. I decided that fact is better than giving him a more distorted view of who we are as people. Last of what I will discuss would be that Filipinas are looking for white men. And that is not so bad, but it's the underlying, the implication of that that's actually not so nice. And that is that Filipinas are gold diggers. So there's a belief that Filipinas are just looking for white men who's earning well, and then they can just stay home, not do anything, and live the American dream. I don't mind, Filipinas wanting white men. They make good babies. That's for sure. And also, it's a preference. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But it's that being gold diggers is the one that actually leaves a very bad taste in the mouth. Because I know that Filipinos, regardless of the gender, we're hardworking. Especially when we're in another country. We could be lazy in our own country, but when we are in another country, we're hardworking. So I don't have any statistics to back it up. Either way, I don't have any statistics to prove that prove or disprove Filipinos are gold diggers. So there's nothing that I can present that would convince people either way, but I just know for a fact we're very, very hardworking. Okay, so those are the stereotypes that I know of, and most of them actually aren't bad. I think as I've mentioned earlier, I've been one of those who were blessed to have worked with people who have respected me as a human being. They didn't really look at my race. They weren't bothered by my accent or the fact that I was educated, born and raised also in the Philippines. They've trusted me to run the marketing department of their companies, and I'm very, very grateful for that, of course, of the opportunity. And I've made sure to work hard to earn that trust and to do my part to earn my keep, basically. So so many of my experiences, I don't have many of the bad experiences that I hear other Filipinos have, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But this is my point of view. You asked me, so these are the stereotypes. I'm sorry if you found it boring, but this is really just based on my experience. Hope that helps.